2 former Memphis Grizzlies die as the NBA playoffs are heating up. You got Jason Collins. This was the first openly gay NBA player. He's the one with less hair there. Stage 4 glioblastoma, an 8-month battle, an aggressive form of brain cancer. That's him on the left right there. Now, how did Brandon Clarke die? You see him on the right there. At the age of 29, his death is being investigated as a possible overdose, with reports stating that drug paraphernalia was found at his home in California. They die one day apart. What are the odds of this? Because the freaking NBA playoffs are popping right now. Right? NBA playoffs are popping. Grizzlies aren't involved. But still, both of these guys have played for the Memphis Grizzlies. You see Jason Collins played for a lot of teams. And it just says Memphis there with Brandon Clarke. You see that right there? Okay. Now, I thought this was interesting. The Grizzlies, look at their first game was against the San Antonio Spurs right there. And I think that's interesting because the Spurs are in the playoffs. So maybe that could be like a clue, possibly. We'll keep an eye to see what happens with the Spurs. There's also other teams here connected. Brandon Clarke was drafted by the OKC Thunder. That's pretty interesting. And, you see Minnesota over there. I think they're still in it against the Spurs. But this Memphis connection here. And, again, let's keep an eye out on the Spurs. Wembanyama wasn't suspended or fined for that massive elbow to Naz Reid of the T-Wolves. Now, check this out. Look at this connection right here. And you see you get like a little sneak peek at the next slide there, okay? So look at Jason Collins. And Brandon Clarke die. When you hear the name Clarke, you think of Caitlin Clarke, right? But there's an E at the end. Look at Jason Collins' birthday. December 2nd, that's 122. Look at Caitlin Clarke's birthday, 122, but it's January 22nd. And you get the Clarke connection with Brandon Clarke, who also dies. You see that? Just trending at the same time with both these deaths as the NBA playoffs are popping right now. Now, you saw the previous slide. Oh, I just caught something else. Because Dillon Brooks is trending. Look at his birthday. It's Caitlin Clarke's birthday, which I already knew. But it's that 122 again. He's trending for being at the LeBron game. Now, look, you see the OKC Brooklyn connection right there. Notice how his last name's Brooks, like Brooklyn. And that Laker game was versus OKC. Look when we go back here. Okay, Jason Collins, he played for New Jersey / Brooklyn Nets. You see that right there? And again, you get OKC, who drafted Brandon Clarke. Now you get Dylan Brooks with the 1-2-2 connection trending. All of these stories are connected by the language and the numbers. Dylan Brooks like Brooklyn. OKC game. You see that connection? Again, the 1-2-2. Didn't he used to play for Memphis? And that's just an add-on right there. Wow, look at it. This is a big script right here. And I'm showing it one more time. He used to play for Memphis. Look at this. This is a massive script with the algorithm and the computer right here, okay? Nobody can argue that. I'm completely making these stories look foolish. If those characters died, it's completely scripted. If they didn't die, it's still scripted. Isn't that amazing right there? Wow, I'm glad I caught that. That's why it's amazing to hit record. That's why it's amazing to hit record after putting these things together. Sometimes it's just better when things pop up like that. That's amazing, man. There's probably a Ja Morant connection somewhere. I want this to be simple, okay? Dylan Brooks has the Caitlin Clarke birthday. She's trending, by the way, just to show you how scripted. Now look at these numbers. Brandon, 121, 68, and 32 like Caitlin. Again, they both got the last name Clarke. You just got the E with Brandon. Look at the other connections. There. Notice all the ones and the twos. You see that right there? Look at all the ones and the twos there. You see that? Like 1-2-2. See that right there? Jason Collins born with the 1-2-2 as well. The Caitlin Clarke. Isn't that wild? And Caitlin Clarke, she's trending, walks out with Morgan Wallen at Lucas Oil Stadium. I think he's a singer or something. His birthday's right now as I speak, May 13. This stuff is so scripted. And remember, when they mention Caitlin Clarke, they always mention Angel Reese. Morgan Wallen, his birthday, 7 days after Angel Reese. Come on, look at this, just to show you how scripted this is. And Brandon Clarke, he dies 131 days before his birthday. Dies on the 131st day of the year. And Jason Collins died the next day. But come on, give me a break with that. Brandon Clarke with the September 19 birthday. Look at this stuff, man. Right? I feel like Dylan Brooks, there's something else there that I'm missing. Maybe something with his name. Dylan, Brandon, maybe. This big Memphis Grizzlies connection here. And basketball equals 185. That 131 days before Brandon Clarke's birthday, he dies. That's the same as 18 weeks, 5 days, 185. Brandon's got the B like basketball. There's a lot of basketball connections here. Caitlin Clarke has tons of connections by the numbers to the sport of basketball. She plays for Indiana, 47 in the reverse reduction cipher. Jason Collins, age at death, 47. Isn't that wild? It's not a coincidence. Wow, right? It's just absolutely incredible how this stuff hits. I'm going to definitely miss some stuff here. I wanted to give you a quick video. 2 basketball players, former Memphis Grizzlies, Dylan Brooks trending. None of this is a coincidence. the Caitlin Clarke connection, as I don't, maybe I thought I heard something like she had some kind of injury. I don't know, man. But this stuff is wild, and it's a complete freaking script, man. There's, like I said, if there's any more you want to add, the couple of actually real people, even bots, any bots want to chime in with any information, this is amazing. Okay? Until next time.